Good afternoon, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order. Joining me in the council chamber is our clerk, Tatiana Defoe, and our secretary to the council, Jody Atkins. At this time, I will see if there's any declarations of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll turn it over to the clerk. Madam Clerk.
Through you, your worship, can everyone hear me? Perfect. Item number 3 is report of the Committee of the Whole in camera session. And item 3.1 is from the November 23rd, 2020 session under the Municipal Act as amended. Item 3.1 is appointments to the Accessibility Advisory Committee, and there is a recommendation on your agenda as follows: that Diane Sims, Judith Hoff, and Lori Maloney Devlin be appointed as citizen representatives, and that Susan Lavender and Peg Hutlin be appointed as agency representatives to the Accessibility Advisory Committee for 2-year terms to November 14th, 2022, or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Vasilakos and Councillor Burback. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried.
Item 3.1.2 is appointments to the Active Transportation Advisory Committee, and there is a recommendation that Lee Chandler and John Zellick be appointed as citizen representatives, and that Bernard Goward be appointed as the Avon Trail representative to the Active Transportation Advisory Committee for 2-year terms to November 14th, 2022, or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Ritzman and second by Councillor Burback. Discussion. If not, all those in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried.
Item 3.1.3 is appointments to the Energy and Environment Committee, and there is a motion that Emily Skelding, Mike Jorna, and Mike Sullivan be appointed as citizen representatives, that Craig Merkley be appointed as the area representative, and that Vanny Azano be appointed as the Civic Beautification and Environmental Awareness Committee representative to the Energy and Environment Committee for 2-year terms to November 14th or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Burback, second by Councillor Bunting. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried.
Item 3.1.4 is appointments to Heritage Stratford Committee, and there is a motion that Howard Schubert, Barb Cottle, Cambria Ravenhill, and Robin Thornrose be appointed as citizen representatives to Heritage Stratford for 2-year terms to November 14th or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Gaffney, seconded by Councillor Vasilakos. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried.
Item 3.1.5 is appointments to the Stratfords of the World Ontario Committee, and there is a motion that Linda Hawken, Polly Bodonetsky, Joan Ayton, Susan Cummer, and Kathy Hill be appointed as citizen representatives to the Stratfords of the World Ontario Committee for 2-year terms to November 14th or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Clifford, seconded by Councillor Burback. Discussion. Not all in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried.
Item 3.1.6 is appointments to Communities in Bloom Committee, and there is a motion that Barb Hacking, Paul Smith, Linda Hawken, Cynthia Carlson, and George Kerstead be appointed to the Communities in Bloom Committee for 2-year terms to November 14th or until successors are appointed.
Moved by Councillor Beattie, second by Councillor Vasilakos. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried.
Item 3.2, also from the November 23rd session, is an appointment of Deputy Mayor, and there is a motion that Councillor Ritzma be appointed as the Deputy Mayor for the Corporation of the City of Stratford to November 14th, 2022.
Moved by Councillor Gaffney, seconded by Councillor Beattie. Discussion. Not all those in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried.
Item 4 is orders of the day, and item 4.1 is a resolution regarding Movies Under the Stars Parking Lot Edition 2020 to 2021 Winter Spring Extension. And there is a staff recommendation that Movies Under the Stars Parking Lot Edition organizers be permitted to use the Cooper parking lot and Grand Trunk Community Center for drive-in screenings and events from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the dates listed on your agenda.
Moved by Councillor Bunting, seconded by Councillor Ritzma. I just asked the clerk, Councillor Gaffney.
Yeah, just a quick question. Was the YMCA involved in the conversations on for these nights and the availability of parking for.
Through you, your worship, Allison Jordan, events coordinator, is on the line, and I would ask her to answer that question if possible.
Hi there. Can you hear me? Yeah. So through you, the YMCA was not consulted, but I'm happy to reach out and give them a heads up on those dates that have been listed just for their awareness.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Allison, I guess my other question was, do these requested or approved dates reflect the request from the Council of Churches that we received?
Through you, Mayor Matheson, yes, that includes those dates. That would include the holiday food drives as well for the local organization.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Vasilako?
I did have a question about if we're currently in orange, but if we went to red or gray, whether we would have to revisit these in anticipation that there might be new rules around even outdoor gatherings.
It was my understanding that whatever zone were put in by the provincial government as it relates to health, then the regulations enforced by the public health unit would supersede this decision. Is that correct, Ms. Defoe?
Through you, your worship, yes, that is my understanding, and we would always refer to Huron-Perth Public Health as well to ensure that all necessary regulations and procedures were being followed.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried.
Moving to item 5, adoption of the bylaws. There are 3 bylaws listed for consideration as follows. Item 5.1 is appointments to advisory committees. Item 5.2 is an appointment of deputy mayor. And item 5.3 is the confirmatory bylaw. And these bylaws could be taken collectively upon unanimous vote of council present.
Moved by Councillor Burbach and Councillor Henderson. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's unanimous. So we'll go to first and second reading of bylaws 5.1, 2, and 3. Councillor Bunting and Councillor Vasilakos. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Third and final reading of bylaws 5.1, 2, and 3. Councillor Gaffney and Councillor Beattie. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And it's carried. A motion to adjourn this afternoon's meeting. Councillor Clifford, Councillor Ritzma. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Stay safe.
weekend, everybody.